Alright, what's up guys? Hit a Wisdom 2020 here on Instagram and Junior Ness on YouTube here. So I want to talk about a couple things. The first thing I want to talk about is all of the Rapture Watcher community. Mainly the more popular channels. I've named a few before. Steve Fletcher, I Got a Minute, Barry Awe, Michael Humble Seeker, Supernatural by Design, Repo Man 64. There's a few more, but what I want you guys to understand is this, is that all these guys are already deceived on one thing that is major besides this pre-7-year rapture. And that is that they all believe in false cosmology. They all believe that the earth, as many people still do, that the earth is flying through space at 500,000 miles an hour with water sticking to it. And at the same time, the Earth is spinning around the sun at 66.6 thousand miles an hour. No coincidence there on the numbers. And that the moon is flying around the Earth at thousands of miles an hour, and that the Earth itself is rotating on an axis at about 1,200 miles an hour. All this movement, and water stays perfectly level on the Earth. Get it? Sea level. Level. Okay, no curvature. But all these guys still believe this lie. And not to go too far into biblical cosmology, all you have to do is go on go on Google and type in biblical cosmology. Click on images. You won't find one picture of a ball earth with water sticking to it. What you will find is a flat earth with a dome above it, covering earth like a tent, which is called the firmament in the Bible. And there are waters above that firmament, and there are waters below that firmament, which we call the seas or the oceans. And it is not moving. Okay, the sun and the moon move above the earth, just like a watch, just like the hands on a watch. The sun tells the time on the day, and the moon tells the month, and the stars tell the years. It's just like a watch, just like a clock. Okay, exactly like a clock or a watch. So you can do your own research on that. But my point is on this is that they are already massively deceived about probably the biggest truth that there is. It doesn't really get any more bigger of a deception than to believe in false cosmology as far as to what they've taught us, as opposed to the biblical cosmology. That's probably the biggest deception out there right now. And it is a big deal because the heavens declare the glory of God and the firmament showeth his handiwork. Steve Fletcher is posting all this stuff about solar flares and all these pictures with the sun, how it's all lava. That's not the sun. That's a computer-generated image. There's no solar flares. The sun is like 100 miles above us. It's like right there. Probably less than 100 miles. Probably like 50 miles above us. And it's the same size as the moon. And it doesn't only, I don't say that because they look the same size. I say that because it even says it in the book of Enoch, that the sun and the moon are the same size, and the sun is 7 times brighter than the moon. These are basic truths that, you know, if you're in the truther community or just a biblical Christian that cares about the Bible and the truth, that you probably should have come to already, because God is waking people up. But they haven't. So my question is, are they rejecting the Holy Ghost and that's why they haven't come to this truth? Or is it because God hasn't even given them the opportunity to come to this truth? Now, I know they've heard about it. They have well, no, I have to take that back. I know that they have rejected it because I personally have told them in their comment section, and I've seen the residual effects of my comments in their videos. Barry All rejects it, but he's a doctor. So he calls himself a doctor. So he's gotten the rapture date wrong 10 times. So what happens when a doctor gets it wrong? His patient dies. Do you get that, Barry? Have you seen this? You were so careless in throwing out dates. You never even thought to sit back and think, well, what if I'm wrong? What kind of damage can this do? It does all kinds of damage. Hopefully God will use it and turn it into something good. God can do anything. All these guys, though, I'm warning you because they are smart about some things. But on other things, they're totally, willfully ignorant. Repo Man 64 says, well, we can talk about it. It doesn't matter which way you believe. Yes, it does matter which way you believe. The first page on the Bible is about God's creation, not man. You don't get to man until verse 26. Everything was created before him. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth, not man. So you don't think that God cares about this? That his people that are teachers are teaching and not believing true cosmology? They got it all wrong, man. They haven't even got to square one yet. So my point is that these guys are already under a massive spell. They're already in a strong delusion. They are already of the world in their thinking about something that is probably the biggest truth ever. NASA was created by ex-Nazis, which they're probably still, in my opinion, Nazis, under something called Operation Paperclip. Operation Paperclip was the United States giving amnesty or enmity or immunity, whatever you want to call it, to over 1,000 Nazi scientists, war criminals, to come over here and work for us. And lo and behold, that's when we get NASA, which in Hebrew means to lift, which in Hebrew means to deceive. NASA means to deceive. It also means to lift, but it also means to deceive. And when they do the countdowns, they say T minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Why do they say T minus? Why? Because if you add a T, where's that T missing from? Missing from NASA, because if you put it in NASA, you get Satan. Their logo is a serpent eating its own tail, going in a circle called the Ouroboros. These guys obviously are under a strong delusion, under a spell still. If you think that that is not a big deal, number one, or number two, that you don't believe it, you're rejecting the truth. You are not coming to the knowledge of the truth. Why do you think these guys are still on this? They already missed their date. It's already past the 7-year mark. But they're still persistent in saying that every little thing that comes up is a possibility for a rapture. Every single thing. Every Jewish holy day and every Jewish anything and every comet and every earthquake and every star sign. They're not going to stop. Now, the only hope, like I said, is in the other video. Repo Man 64 says, well, the new year doesn't start until March 15th and 16th. Well, that's the only hope for the pre-7-year rapture, which it's not going to happen. But, with that being said, none of them even believe that, though. Because Repo Man 64, he's like the only one who believes that. The other guys, they're up a creek without a paddle. They don't know what to do. They won't come to the knowledge of the truth. They won't change their doctrines, even though they've proven themselves wrong. Just like the same as biblical cosmology. You're dealing with men who are more stuck on what they're teaching rather than to listen to the Holy Ghost and also to listen to other people that are trying to tell them things, like me. But no, there's a war, there must be a rapture. Really? There's an earthquake, a rapture. Jesus didn't say any of that. He said there will be wars, there are rumors of wars, there will be earthquakes in diverse places, false prophets everywhere, in which all these guys are now. Unfortunately, they're all false prophets because there is no pre-7-year rapture. They all believe science, falsely so-called. 1 Timothy 6, verses 20 and 21. We are warned about science, falsely so-called, in which God says that the wisdom of this world is foolishness with God. All these guys, you know what they believe about about cosmology? The wisdom of this world. They didn't get it from the Bible. You didn't get all that earth spinning around with water sticking to it and flying through space at 500,000 miles an hour and the earth circling the sun and all this stuff from the Bible, you got that from the wisdom of this world. And God says that that is foolishness. So I'm just warning you about these guys. They're already under a strong delusion, thinking that this doesn't matter, thinking that it's not true. They can't come to the knowledge of the truth. And what makes you think that they're going to come to the knowledge of the truth about the rapture and it not being now? And the other truth about the rapture is that it's not just going to happen on any little given time. Just a warning. I hope they don't take it to offense, but it is what it is.